So I'm going to pull on your emotions in a little bit, okay? Let's go back. I believe it was 2018 was probably the first time you went back and played at North Davidson, but you weren't on that home sideline.
Right.
What was it like going back, emotions, and standing on the visitors' sideline after, what, 15 years of being what was that night like?
It was a game that I was looking forward to getting over with.
Sure.
I'm not going to lie. And Coach Flynn and I talked about it before too, and we just said, we'll just be glad when this week's over.
My mission is to travel the state of North Carolina to meet my fellow high school football coaches and to get to know them more on a personal level and to bring that personal side of these coaches to you, to see that there is more to these coaches than just Friday nights under those bright lights. Let's get on the road.
Hey, Coach Willard here. We're going to be traveling the roads in North Carolina to bring you guys a closer look at these high school coaches that are making those calls underneath those Friday night lights. Today we are heading down to Oak Grove, and I'm going to meet with Coach Mark Holcomb. He's been a coach for 15 years. 2 of those years he was the head coach at Oak Grove. He has 130 wins in his 15 years as a head coach and is coaching the Under Armour Bowl, the Shrine Bowl, and the East-West Bowl. So let's get down the road and see a little bit more about this man leading the ship at Oak Grove. Let's roll. Coach Holcomb, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Man, thanks for having us here at Oak Grove High School.
Well, welcome to Oak Grove. First trip
like
here,
a
right?
Beautiful place, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're blessed to have this place. Beautiful place to walk into every day.
Man, I can't believe how it looks out here and everything. It looks great.
Yeah, they've done a good job. Our kids have something to be proud of, that's for sure.
It's a beautiful place. So Mark, before we get going here, tell me a little bit about yourself, maybe your high school career, where you went to college, all those things. Give us a little background so everybody knows where Mark Holcomb's from.
My high school career, let's see, I was a 5'8", 185-pound guard on a team that was 2-8 back-to-back seasons. So I was, quite the impressive player. So I graduated from North in '88. I went to Appalachian and got my undergraduate degree from there. Then I've since then picked up a couple different certifications, one from Winston State, and then I got my master's a couple years ago at Gardner Webb to be an administrator. So I've been through a lot of different things, but I can guarantee you this, I talk to my kids all the time about I was not a great football player by any means. When you said, did you play college football? Now, I went to a lot of college football games and still do, but that's about as close as I got to the field. So.
I hear you. So I did a little research before I got here, just kind of, this is a new school, Oak Grove. Back in the mid-1800s, they had a high school, I believe it was, or maybe back in those days, a full school of Oak Grove. Can you give us a little history about back then and what we got now today?
We are, that's one of the reasons they named it Oak Grove, is because I think the middle school being right across the street, I think on a plot of land either on the middle school or maybe the plot of land we're on now was where the old Oak Grove School was at. We actually have a picture in our office of the graduating class in there. So
no way.
Yeah, so it's
awesome.
Pretty neat to know the history behind that. But our kids in our community have no clue about it because we're so new that there really is no history right now behind our school. We still haven't even had a homecoming yet, so we're still a long way away. But it is pretty neat to have that background with that school being here, and for some older people in the community to remember that.
Awesome. That's good to know right there. Wow, Coach, looking over this field right here, this is truly amazing. I've never been here before. What goes through your mind right now as you look over your stadium?
Well, a lot of great memories already in just a short amount of time, and hopefully looking forward to building some more memories there. There's a lot of a lot of plans we've had, a lot of hard work's gone into making this place look like it has, and we definitely don't take it for granted, because we were across the field across the road at the middle school for a while there when we first started.
Oh, really? Okay,
in the 9th and 10th grade. So our kids don't take it for granted. I can assure you of that.
That's pretty. I did not know you guys are over there. I got one question I want to touch on here. Now, if I'm correct here, I believe the 2020 class was supposed to be the first graduating class of Oak Grove. Then obviously COVID-19 hits. I'm sure that had to be a tough time. I'm sure there was a lot of excitement for this first graduation class. How did kids handle that, and how was that here in the community?
Well, I mean, it was tough, just because when you think about it, the seniors from this past year had been seniors for 3 straight years, because they were the oldest class in the school for that amount of time. They did a great job of establishing the leadership and the expectations of this school. And from a football standpoint, our seniors won a conference championship, which was a surprise for us. A pleasant surprise. Great. And then our baseball team was undefeated at the time we got shut down. So from a sports standpoint, we felt like we were finally getting to where we needed to be. And then COVID comes along, we get shut down. From a school standpoint, we were finally starting to get a lot of school spirit and school pride from our community. So it's tough for those kids, because we hadn't been through a graduation yet. And we were really excited as teachers going through a graduation and having these kids come in and be our first graduating class. So, that was a little bit of a downer, but our kids are resilient. They've done a great job of handling it, and it's just one of those things you're going to look back in life and they're going to learn from, and they'll be better from it.
Well, let's move on to this now. I've been coaching for over, almost 30 years now. I've been a head coach for 18 years. There's been guys that have been coaching for 30, 40 years. But the situation you got to do is very uncommon for a football coach. You got to come into a brand new school and ever start from scratch, including, like you were talking, your first year was a JV program. What was that like? Give us kind of a rundown of what it was like being a head coach for so long on varsity level, and then actually, some people will be like, oh, you took a step back, you actually had to coach JV. Kind of give us that scenario of the past 3 years, what it's been like.
Well, it's been a lot of work, and without the support of our administration and our AD, it would have been very difficult. When I came and interviewed for the job, I would be lying if I didn't say it was intriguing to start a new program, because I'm getting ready to start year 29, so I'm probably close to the end of my career, and very few coaches get a chance to build something from the ground up and say, this is ours, this is what we built. And so when I met with the administration, they shared the same common goal. And, I was able to bring some of my coaches with me who I knew shared those goals. And, so it was a lot of work. We kept thinking the same thing to ourselves. We're going to be coaching JV, man, this is going to be easy. This is going to be, and then we turn around and, we're having to play kids both ways. It's the first time we've had to do that in a long time. So practice ended up getting longer. A nice byproduct of it, my daughter was a senior at North, so I was able to go see every one of her senior volleyball matches and lacrosse matches, so I was able to go see that. So that was a great thing about it. And then our kids just continued to grow. They got in the weight room. They started learning more about the game of football. My staff, I got better and better coaches on my staff each year. And so our kids in our community have really bought into Oak Grove. And it's tough when you bring 2 schools that have been together or been apart so far and been pretty good rivals between North and Ledford, and you take those 2 groups of kids and you mix them together, you naturally have half of your parents are still North parents, half of your parents are still Ledford parents, so it's tough to build that sense of community. But I think we're doing it the right way, and I think we're not in a hurry to build it, but I think we're starting to see some of the fruits of our labor. But it's been a journey for sure, and I've enjoyed it. It's been frustrating at times, but I've enjoyed it. And again, our administration and our AD and our teachers in this school, you look at the outside of this school building and say, wow, it's beautiful. The inside of this place is beautiful, but the nicest thing about it is the people who work here care about kids, and they're great people. So that's, everybody comes here for the nice building, but you stay for what's going on inside the building.
There's no doubt this is a beautiful school. I mean, the school is unbelievable. But that was kind of my next question. So you're kind of working, the community is on a Friday night. Are the stands getting full? Are you getting your fan base?
We're getting better, especially when we have some, we were fortunate this year to have Ledford at home, to have North at home. Salisbury at home. So we're starting to get some of those, good games. And I tell our kids all the time, if you want to play in front of big crowds, you got to win games.
Yes.
And if you want to win games, you got to be expected to win games. If you look up in the bleachers and there's nobody here, then there's no expectation.
Yeah.
And I said, so we talked about the North game this year at the beginning of the year. I said, guys, if this is the first big game you've played in. If you win this game, there's going to be more big games. And that's what you have to understand. So our fan base has been incredible. I mean, you look up here and we got a beautiful stadium and it's packed on a Friday night. It's just like any other community around here. They want to come out and watch football on Friday, and we're grateful to every one of them.
So remind me now, Coach, you're a graduate of North Davidson.
Yep.
Okay. I believe your first head coaching job was at North Davidson.
It was.
So, and then was that the only head coaching job you had prior?
That is. To that point, I was an assistant at West Davidson, came to North for a couple years, worked under Coach Butts, and then became a head coach at North. Actually, at North, I was a head coach, went into administration for 2 years at North.
That's right.
And then went back into being a head coach there. So, a lot of the things I knew before coming here obviously was North Davidson.
Sure. What was the community like? What was it like? I know your daughter was still in high school there. What was the community? I'm sure there was a lot of people that supported you, probably some that had signs to get rid of Mark Holcomb. What was it all about,
Well, I still live in the community. Like you said, I was fortunate enough to coach my son coming through school. My daughter was a senior, so I had to get her blessing, obviously, to be able to come here, because I wanted to make sure that this was a family decision. It was tough. It was tough because that was all I had known for the last, I think I was there 15 years. And I'd created some great relationships with players, great relationships with coaches that are still there, great relationships with parents that I see all the time still in the grocery store. So it was obviously a tough decision. Probably one of the toughest things I've ever had to do is to walk into the cafeteria that day and tell those kids that I was leaving. That was an emotional day. I'm an emotional guy just by nature. I don't know where I guess I got it from my mom. But that was a tough day because I had known a lot of those kids from 4th grade when they're coming through Little League camp.
Yep.
And same thing with those coaches. Spent a lot of time with those coaches. Been through a lot of battles. A lot of time with those coaches' families. Both of Coach Flynn's kids, I saw them. I was at the hospital when they were born, and I just felt like they were almost your kids.
Sure.
So,
no doubt.
So it was a tough decision. I'm not gonna lie. It was one of those decisions where once you make it, I think you just got to say, I've made it. I'm moving on. Let's go in this direction and let's move forward. And that's what we've done.
So I'm gonna pull on your emotions in a little bit. Okay, let's go back. I believe it was 2018 was probably the first time you went back and played at North Davidson, but you weren't on that home sideline.
Right.
What was it like going back, emotions and standing on the visitors' sideline after 15 years of being? What was that night like?
It was a game that I was looking forward to getting over with.
Sure.
I'm not gonna lie, and Coach Flynn and I talked about it before too, and we just said we'll just be glad when this week's over.
Sure.
It was an emotional night. We had played JV there the year before, but this was the varsity game. I remember going through our pregame speech, and I was a wreck. I was in tears, and and we're walking out for the game, and I think it was Anthony Bowen and Mason Grubbs, if I'm not mistaken, just kind of grabbed me by the arm and said, "Let's go, coach. Let's go get this done."
Awesome.
So that's awesome. That kind of got my emotions going even more, and then I get to the sideline, and you're coming out of the different end zone and walking over the sideline, and you look over and you see the bleachers at North, where I had a lot of fond memories of those people. So it was a tough game. Once the game got started, your competitive edge just kind of takes over with, and you want your kids to do well, you want them to win, you want them to stay safe, and then in the same breath, you want the kids on the other sideline to stay safe and do well. So it was really a tough night. But once we got through that game, it got a little bit easier this year.
Okay.
And I think it'll probably get a little bit easier every time, because now most of the kids that I coached in JV, I think those kids are gone now.
Sure.
So the kids that I know now were from Little League camp and just seeing them around at Food Line and things like that. So it was a tough adjustment.
So is it a natural rivalry now then? Is it because of you guys, you coming from there, or just being close? You have kids from there that came here?
I think probably a little bit of all those things. You know, I think Brian said it one time, as long as I'm here and as long as he's there, we were together so long, there's going to be a natural rivalry.
Yep, no doubt.
With us actually winning a game against them. And I told our kids, I said, if you want it to be a rivalry, you have to beat them at some point.
Gotta win. Gotta win.
So this year, at the beginning of the year, we were fortunate to beat them. I think that added a little bit more to the rivalry. Then in the playoff game, they just wore us out. I mean, they outplayed us. We did not play well at all. It was one of those games where in the second quarter, you just kind of look up and say, what's happening? But, you know, hats off to those guys. Their kids played well. Their coaches had a great plan. And I think that might have even added a little bit more to it.
Sure.
So, you know, looking forward to this year. Same thing with Ledford. We were finally able to beat Ledford for the first time. So now that rivalry heats up a little bit.
Sure.
You know, you want to kind of defend your area.
No doubt.
And that's what I told our kids. We're new to this area. So anytime we get a chance to beat North and Ledford, and no matter what it is, you know, that's just going to help our credibility a little bit and help us. So, but a lot of emotions from both sides.
I can only imagine.
It was tough.
All right, Coach. So now these days with these kids, the big thing is the pregame walkthrough. The pregame, I mean, they want to know that. They know that better than our plays.
Yeah.
So what kind of special pregame warm-up do you guys do here?
Well, so far we've used our storage shed and our, you know, kind of as a theme for us. Like I said before, we started at the middle school in a closet. And so that is our storage area for all of our equipment.
Okay.
So we got our kids in there. We're outgrowing it a little bit. We're having to spill over into the auxiliary gym.
That's a good thing.
But, you know, we want our kids to understand where they came from. You know, where the program started, where it's at now. So we do that. We've usually got a lot of people lined up coming out of there.
Cool.
And we come down on each side of the stadium or each side of the press box, and our kids are pretty excited. Our student section's right in the middle. So we run in front of the student section, and then we go to the end and come in with our players down here and our cheerleaders. And a lot of times we have our Little League teams lined up along the side, and they're, you know, giving the kids five on the way by, because we want those middle school and elementary school kids to say, I want to come out of there one day.
Heck
So I
yeah.
think that's just trying to build that Oak Grove trademark a little bit, trying to get that done. So that's something we've done. Who knows, with kids today, we might have to change it sometime. I don't know what we're doing.
What do you do? So now you've come down, you've done your little thing. 5 minutes before, every coach has a little different, you know, you're waiting for that coin flip. What are you doing? What are you thinking personally? What's going through your mind? I just want to know, as a coach, what's going through your mind?
Well, the last thing that goes through my mind, when I walk out of that door, and this has, I guess, been a ritual with me, my wife's always waiting on me for there to give me a hug and a kiss.
Awesome, that's
so
awesome, Coach.
That's my good luck. So right when we get down, I'm trying to find her. I want to make sure that, you know, that she's there, and I get to see her, and when my family's in, get to see them. But just, you know, how excited I am for the kids, and how I always tell the kids before every game, take time out of the game to look around and just see how blessed you are to play in front of you know, in a great place, to play in front of a great crowd, and to be playing a game of football. I mean, because I think, you know, you've got all kinds of sports out there everywhere, and everybody has their own thing, but this sport is one of those sports that's it's teamwork. And if you look around and you appreciate the things that you have, I think it's gonna mean a little bit more to you, man. We want to instill that pride in everything that we do here.
All right, so now we're sitting here at the 50-yard line. Now, it's only been 3 years, you know, 2 varsity years, but what's one of your best memories so far here at Oak Grove?
Golly, I mean, I think, you know, we've had some big wins here, but I think nothing probably goes back to that very first game we had here against Carver, and the excitement of our kids, the excitement of our fans, and just we played really well against them. And I think that's something that I'll always look back at. You know, obviously playing North and playing Ledford and playing Salisbury here and winning those games are big, but when I think about that being the first time that we walked out on this field as a true community, you know, that's probably always going to be, to this point, my fondest memory on this field. It was just a neat thing, and I think we ended up scoring maybe the second or third. We onside kicked. We got the onside kick. We scored maybe 2 plays later. It was just one of those things, if you're writing a book, everything went exactly as we had planned. And it was one of those things for our kids that they felt justified for all the stuff they had done and all the work they'd gone through and all the different moving your equipment here, moving your equipment there, all those things. So that would definitely be my biggest one. I hope we make more here. You know, I'd love to be able to you know, win a game here that sends us to the state championship. And I think then if you ask me that question, that one might be the next one. So, yeah. But right now, I would definitely say that first game.
I like the onside kick. That's some good history right there.
You might as well go ahead. I looked at the official. I said, you better get ready for this one. He said, what are you doing? I said, if we're going to start this game, we're going to start it right. So let's go.
That's awesome. That's a great start of a game.
Yeah.
All right, 2-minute drill here. We're going in. You got to score here, Coach.
How many timeouts do I have?
You got no timeouts, buddy. No timeouts. Your favorite position to coach?
Offensive line, without a doubt.
I love it. I love it. Your favorite offensive play?
Whew. Counter. I think anybody that you looked at me would say that. They would know that. They would know that answer.
I could have answered that.
Yeah.
Are you a base guy or a blitz guy on defense?
Base as much as possible. Yep. I want to teach them the base.
Favorite college team?
Wake Forest.
All right. Go Deeks. Favorite pro team?
The Miami Dolphins.
Really?
Yes.
Well, okay.
Take for two. Let's see if it works.
All right, so this might answer this question. Are you a beach guy or a mountain guy?
Mountain guy.
Really?
No doubt.
App State, baby.
No doubt.
Okay, seafood or steak?
Steak. I do not like any. The only seafood I eat is hush puppies. Is hush puppies a seafood?
I don't think so,
Okay,
but we can call
that's
it that.
Steak all day long.
And my last one, are you going to kick off or are you going to receive?
We're going to kick off. We're going to play defense.
There you go, the 2-minute drill, just like that. All right, now on this show, every week I pick out a coach's challenge. Me and my crew, we pick out a coach's challenge, okay? Okay, so I try to figure out, honestly, I try to cheat a little bit and figure out maybe what the coach ain't that good at. But, so we're going to kick a 20-yard field goal.
You going to make me block somebody?
Yeah, I should have went back to your high school film. But we're going to kick a 20-yard field goal today.
Woo.
We're going to put 2 balls up here on a tee, and I'm going to let you go first. And then I'll go after that, and we're going to see who can make that field goal.
All right. Good luck, bud. Good luck. You might have me on this one.
I brought you a brand new game football from East Forsyth.
That's an Adrian Snow football.
Okay. Yes, it is. That is a big ball. So I'm going to go first and try to put the pressure on you now. That's a lot further than I thought when I was thinking about this.
I think we might be at about 14.
This is like Mr. T, that one guy used to hit the head and he kicked it. That's what I'm all about. But I'm going to put the pressure on you right here, Coach. Whoa, it didn't look pretty, but it went in.
Did that turn over?
It turned
halfway through?
It went in though, man.
All right, here we go.
Look at you, you're big time. He's going.
Here we go.
He might have known how to do this.
I've seen my guys do this before. Hey.
Okay, all right.
Where's that? I'm going straight on. I'm going straight on.
All right, here we go.
All right, here we go.
No pressure. Oh, he made it! We end the game in a tie. It's like playing soccer, guys. We ended in a tie. We ended in a tie. Hey, Mark, I appreciate you guys having us here at Oak Grove today.
Always welcome here.
This is a beautiful place. Beautiful place.
Thank you. We're blessed to have it. That's for sure.
This is unbelievable. Catch us next time when we get down on the road, when we meet another high school coach in North Carolina. Until then, go deep.